All right, Stud Muffin 1986 here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to World of Tanks Blitz. Our favorite game, everyone, and we're here to talk about it. So, I don't know why I thought this, but I got a question from one of my subscribers asking, what is your top 5 best and top 5 worst tech tree tanks? I don't know why I interpreted this as what is your top 5 favorite tech tree lines to grind and what is your top 5 worst tech tree lines to grind. I ended up going through starting to pull up a bunch of data through Blitz stars trying to find out which lines were the worst percentage wise. I was like, oh, hell no. I was like, there was so much data here and I was trying to organize it and filter it down and simplify it and way overcomplicating this question. So I just felt absolutely dumb. And then when I went back and actually looked at the question while I was making this, starting to put this video together, I was like, what on earth was I thinking? All he asked was, what is my opinion on my top 5 best, I guess, favorite tanks and top 5 worst tanks in the tech tree, not the entire tech line to grind. So, oh man, that was just I couldn't believe it. Anyway, so I'm going to be talking about that today. Once again, 100% opinion based. I'll give my reasons for it. Criticize me if you want. This doesn't have to align with what your guys' thoughts are. Just a for fun video here, just from one of my subscribers. And so I'll go over my top best tanks. Okay. So these are in no particular order. These are just top 5. And I just love these tanks. I just sometimes can't get enough with playing with these tanks. And they're almost kind of like my go-to tanks, like my fallback on if I'm just looking for something fun. I don't necessarily care about win rate. Like everything else goes out the window. These are the top 5. So just diving right in here. Number 1, the T49. I know a lot of people don't. This tank, if you get hit by it and penned, this is your worst enemy. You absolutely hate this thing. I think I slip a swear word every time I get hit by this thing, but when you're on the other end of it, not receiving it and actually dealing it, oh man, it just feels so good to get that, just fly around the map super fast, just get that. You're like a KV2 on steroids, I feel. You can just zip around the map, you get those really good shots, and you could be just this pest of a player and just absolutely wreck. And when you end up getting behind tanks and they see you and it's too late for them to react, you could just sense this moment. It is just so fun. Anyway, next on the list, T30. This thing is up in your face, all about when you get this thing in a good spot and you got that turret peeking up, the enemy is just oh shoot, because this thing can be one heck of a force to deal with and a bit of a bully. This is not one of those back of the line tank destroyers. I like the T34, and this thing just takes it to a whole new level with that 800 alpha cannon. Just so much fun. Number 3 is the FOC 155 with the auto-loading cannon. Ever since that thing has come out, I have just gotten insane games with it. It is it's so funny because the enemy almost can't predict, or some of them act like they don't even know. Oh wait, does this guy have the auto-loading cannon? Or they forget about it and they start trying to do something. I'm I got another shell, it'll be, and then just boom, it's a lot of fun, and you can really get yourself as like, you can zip around pretty quick on the map, which is one thing I really like about it. It's got good armor, and that auto loading 2-shell 800 alpha auto loading cannon is just a lot of fun. Next on the list, I've made a couple videos about this one. It's the VK72. Yes, the VK72. I really like this tank. Outside of the mouse, I used to love the mouse, and I still really like the E100. I haven't played the mouse in a while. Those side cheeks can just kill you, but that 800 alpha for a tier 10 tank, not even on a destroyer, can just be so much fun. And this thing can just be quite trollish with its frontal armor, because even though you have those little bit of weak points, you just can totally use those as bait, and you can bounce a lot more rounds off this thing than I think enemies would expect. Next on the list, I still like it, even though this tank has gone through so many nerfs, the FE183. Anytime I need to just burn some fumes, like if I just have some games that just suck or things not going right, the FE183 always... I can always guarantee I will get a smile out of the FE183. Like, just getting that high penetrating, high explosive shot for that high alpha is just so much fun. And just like you have this feeling of yes, and you're just like a different person. Anyway, those are my top 5 favorites. Now, for my top worst tanks, the tanks that I honestly had the worst, like I hated them. Like I really couldn't stand these tanks. So number 1 was the Spick. This little German, like this thing was more of a pest and a nuisance to me than I was able to be a pest or a nuisance to other players on the battlefield. It was such a pain. Like, this thing's got okay speed. It's tiny, which is good, which is in your favor. But, oh my gosh, that cannon, that shell, the shell velocity is so slow on this thing that I just... Anyway, the next one is the Tier 8 Centurion British medium. It's been a while since I've played with that thing. I just remember not having a good experience with it. I think I just ended up paying money to get through it. I just hated it. Then the AT-15. It's just like the Tier 8 British heavy TD. It's such a slow tank, and it's got such a... You'd have, like, the only chance I feel like I had of getting players was if they were just... like if they went AFK or they just went brain dead or something, like, because once you get one shot off of them, even though you have a high DPM, smart players will get out of there. They know how to get out and like get themselves in good spots, and the 15A just felt so useless to me. It just was so slow. I couldn't do anything. It was hard for me to get in the fight. If I got shots off, it'd be like, all right, I got that one guy for an average of 190 damage or whatever it was. Anyway, I haven't played in a long time. The next one is the STA-1. I have completely stopped there in the Japanese tech tree line. I haven't even continued up to the STB just because of this thing. I think there was a recent update where they buffed this thing, so maybe I'll have to go back and give it a try, but I don't know what it was. I like medium tanks, but that one for some reason just took it to another level. And then the Tier 8 British heavy, I may be pronouncing this right, Carnovrion. That was kind of the same thing, just this really low alpha. It has a great DPM and stuff, and there's some good... I don't know what it was, but that tank would just tick me off. I guess I'm the type of person that's like, look, if I'm going to have a high DPM or something, give me a fast tank so I can like get in there, zip around, do my thing, and like unload my rounds. Or if I'm gonna be slow and I'm, I like, just give me like something that packs a punch, not a straw sticking out of a box that's gonna. Anyway, so this is Stud Muffin 1986. Those were my top 5 best, top 5 worst tanks in the tech tree. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what your guys' top favorites are, top worst. Stud Muffin 1986 here. You guys stay cool and keep tanking.